What is good, gamers? How's it going, everyone? So we had some last minute changes this morning. Homie Jez is under the weather, so he will not be joining us on this blessed Saturday morning, unfortunately. Yes, I'm getting things set up on my side. Typically, Jez does the hosting, so trying to get all that dialed in. I think I'm having an issue with audio. I doubt you guys can hear the game audio. Still trying to figure that out. Bear with me here, y'all. But yeah, we were gonna play Remnant from the Ashes. But since Jez is not joining us, I don't want to get further because I've already beaten the game. So no big deal. But so instead, I thought I would stream some Fall Guys because it's hot, it's in, and it's a game that's easier for me to just play. I think one of my teammates, Brendan, might be joining us as well. Still kind of waiting to hear from him, but what's good? It's your boy coming at you. How is everyone doing? Sorry, it's been a morning. Woke up to some stuff that I had to figure out. But yeah, anyway, we are in the process of shifting the branding a little bit of this stream to kind of be more of a podcast format. We want to keep it pretty lax. We want to keep it pretty fun. So we're going to be doing gameplay as we're doing it. So it's not going to be a super structured or formal podcast by any means, but kind of like a hybrid. So we're not really going to have a super hard, rigid structure for the quote unquote podcast, but we do want to make it more of a conversation with like us and the people in the audience. So it's a little more like Xboxy, a little more kind of Xbox-centric, but still fun and kind of laid back. So some chill Saturday morning vibes, bros. What's good? So yeah, I'm gonna be hanging out, I guess solo for now. But if you guys have any topics, any Xbox related things you want to hear me chime in on, drop them in the chat. That's kind of the vibe we're going for with this. Is we want this to be kind of like you hanging out in an Xbox party with the crew, talking about all things Xbox while playing games, and that's the vibe. In this case, I'm a lonely man sitting in a Xbox party chat alone. So, oh god, my heart. But yeah, clearly there was a lot of stuff Xbox to talk about this week. So, yeah, it's gonna be juicy. This week was juicy. We got PlayStation just coming out and announcing their showcase on Wednesday. They haven't confirmed that we're gonna see pricing there, but I would be flabbergasted and appalled if they didn't talk about pricing and pre-orders. They might even do the "you can pre-order it right now" kind of thing at the end is kind of what I'm expecting, but I also kind of have my tinfoil hat conspiracy that Xbox specifically pushed the pre-order date out to the 22nd to allow PlayStation to announce their news and give them wiggle room and opportunity to kind of counter that. Oh yeah, homie Grubs dropping some juicy deets about what's coming down the pipeline for Microsoft. I'm sure they're spending money on getting some sort of exclusives, something for Game Pass, or most likely something for Game Pass. Or he could be talking about the old TikTok deal. Oh no, it's no. All yeah. So the whole EA or the all access skipping Germany is kind of odd. They are obviously, spending a lot of time to expand the availability in the countries that Xbox All Access is in, which is great because it was really restricted. But yeah, like you said, Germany is a key market that is kind of missed in this. So I don't really know what all the logistics and the legalities are, but I'm gonna fail. No, yeah. Um, yeah, I haven't heard anything specific as to why they skipped Germany. but that is kind of a big oversight, and that's a big market for them. Oh yeah, I don't have to sit here and watch this, but I do have to sit through this menu now that I didn't back out in time. Oh, goodness. We got Hazador in the chat. We got Binyabik. We got Link. We got John Grecola. We got Fugly. Yeah, actually, if you're interested in a little bit more, there's kind of like a promotional video that Xbox put out regarding the quick resume. It's supposed to be, I don't know if it is in real time, but it's supposed to be in real time, like how the process works. But you can basically have several games kind of queued up and locked in. So there is like a brief couple seconds for the game to boot, but you can stop. Kind of like if you've played on a Switch, that's kind of the easiest way that I can describe it, is that if you've played on a Switch and you just like push the sleep button and put your Switch away, and when you grab it and turn it on, it's in that exact location. That's kind of what Quick Resume is. But you can do that with multiple games. In the demo, I think they show 3 different games locked in simultaneously, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's convenient. You don't have to sit through, because I know with Gears 5 in particular, like I love Gears. I play a lot of Gears, but that boot sequence is like 2 minutes of logos and animations, and it's a long time to get into Gears 5. So being able to skip stuff like that, where I've played the game for hundreds of hours at this point, I get who made it. I get what engine it's being used. I don't want to sit through 2 minutes of that every time I open the game. Also, this game's slightly hard to it's hard to talk and play at the same time. So this will be interesting. I'm gonna be real bad. But yeah, appreciate you guys kind of hanging out on this fine Saturday morning. Like I said, things were a little bit weird and kind of had to figure it out and make do. But ultimately and ideally, Jez and I will be doing this every Saturday. We're looking to get some other guests on as well, other Xbox kind of centric personalities and people within the industry. So we have some cool longer term plans with this, and I'm pretty excited to see what that ends up being. But again, kind of sort of a podcast, but a little more laid back than most. Get Phil on. Oh, maybe. That's all I'm gonna say about that for now. I know I will be getting my beautiful face on as well, because Jez wants me to be the face and the host of this particular show. So again, this morning I wasn't really prepared for it, but yeah, going forward you'll be seeing my sweet face on this. And then Jez just lurking in the shadows because he's always putting himself down, which is not cool. Jez is a beautiful lad and he needs to embrace it. You didn't appreciate the gamer ASMR? It's got a cult following on the dark web. Oh yeah, it's your boy. It's your boy jumping. Yeah, the gamer ASMR, that was just for fun. I feel like most people didn't actually oh no. No, God, no. Oh yeah, okay. I feel like most people didn't watch till the end, so they didn't really get that it was a joke. They just thought it was some creepy thing that I was doing. Don't get me wrong, it's creepy. It was definitely creepy. That was the oh god damn. That was the vibe that I was going for, but there was a punchline at the end that softens the blow. Oh Jesus. Oh, this game's ridiculous. Okay, I'm doing it. I don't care what it takes. I'm going down the middle. Yep. Yeah. The reaction to the SMR was you either love it or you think it was super creepy, which I get. I knew it. I expected that response. but I just had to roll with it. I can turn this into a little ASMR sesh if that's what your kink is. If that's what y'all are into. I can make this real weird. So now that we have details on both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, which I'm glad it finally came out. That was the worst kept secret outside of Fable in the in gaming history, I feel like. What are you guys getting? Are you still sticking with the old thick brick, or are you going with that little dainty lad? Oh, ice cold LaCroix for days. Ooh, getting that thick boy. I don't know if third-party devs are going to be forced to publish games on both the Series S and Series X. I'm interested to see how the medium specifically rolls out, because that, as it stands, is only an Xbox Series X game. And I haven't heard any additional information on if that's coming to Series S. Because the CPU is so similar, I imagine it won't be too difficult for them to do simultaneous releases. But I haven't heard that Microsoft is mandating these companies to release on both. I think that if that's not the case, it might cause a little more confusion for people in the new Xbox ecosystem. But because everything's pretty scalable, I hope that that's the case, because you're going to have people who buy the Series S, and I'll use Medium as an example. Say they buy Medium, like, oh, cool, this is, a quote-unquote next-gen game, and I have a next-gen console, and then they boot it up and it doesn't work because they don't have the Series X. I think that'll be a little bit weird. I hope that's not the case. Again, the Series S specs are pretty impressive. We're hearing some kind of conflicting things from developers in regards to, is it scalable? Is it not? Is it going to quote unquote hold back next gen? Blah blah blah. But I mean, the specs on the Series X are statistically higher than what a lot of people on Steam use, and as we've seen with PC gaming, that's scalability is super simple. So I don't know. I think it's just people haven't got their hands on it, so they don't really know yet, and they're just kind of making assumptions about it. Ooh, your GameStop was already accepting pre-orders for Series X ahead of time. I guess, yeah, they do that often. They just kind of assume. Yeah, I'm going with the old thick brick. I might honestly get both because I'm a madman. Put the Series S in my living room and then put the Series X in my office. And then Brendan, if you're watching, I'm gonna message you here in a second if you're not. But I'm a doofus, and for whatever reason, I need to do some more hardcore changes to OBS to get the desktop audio working. So yeah, I might I don't know. I might have to just go rogue on this one for now until I get that figured out. Oh god, no. Yeah, a new TV and a new console. That's a wombo combo right there of just wallet draining expenses. I got myself a new monitor. I'm kind of on the fence because it doesn't support 4K 120, but it does support Dolby Vision and variable rate shading and a lot of the other niceties that are coming with these consoles. So I'll probably just stick with that for now, and then down the road probably upgrade, because 4K 120 FPS monitors right now are just with HDMI specifically, because that's the only way to get the 120 FPS is HDMI 2.1, and right now there are literally no monitors that support that, which is super annoying. All right, Brendan. Appreciate that, dude. Sorry. Yeah. Spent a good 20 minutes trying to get desktop audio working on here, but I wasn't able to make it work. So, you know, just flying by the seat of my pants. Son of a gun. Woo! Yeah, I have an LG monitor that I'm really happy with. The HDR isn't as mind blowing as like some of the like Samsung and LG OLEDs that I've seen, but yeah, with this being an LG, I did a lot of research before I made this purchase, and the HDR is pretty solid. Um, I'm excited to see what that looks like with next gen. But I mean, games like Gears 5, which have been a great showcase for HDR, looks incredible. Super tight, super detailed, and I think it was about $500, so it wasn't absurdly priced. I mean, like, granted, that's expensive. Buying that, I got this like about a month ago, so this and the Series X, that's $1,000 for my next gen gaming experience. Let me see if I can get you. Let me see if I can get you an exact model number here. Uno momento. I will let you know exactly what monitor I have. Hard Dick Lee. Who else we got? D Ram. D Ram. Okay, so I have the LG 27 UK 850. So the UK 850 is the model I have. 27-inch is the size that I have. Hazador is just, he's hungry to just slam the hammer down. He doesn't play when it comes to the mod game. Yeah, no problem. It's a great monitor. I've been really happy with it. And it's reasonably priced, which is the key thing, because 4K monitors are still a bit on the spicy side for pricing. I was looking, and some of the ones that I was looking at that supported 4K 144 hertz were like $2,000. Granted, they didn't have HDMI 2.1, which I wasn't as interested in, but yeah, they're expensive still. They're super expensive. Let's get some, I'm down to talk to some Sony fanboys, We don't have to hate each other in this gaming landscape. People like to come in, and my Twitter feed in particular has been a dumpster fire the last couple days, because I didn't say anything negative about PlayStation. I just said something positive about Xbox, and we all know how that goes. We all know how that goes. Yeah, I've completed Remnant from the Ashes and all of the DLC except for the final boss of Subject 2923, because I hope they've patched it, but my god, that boss fight runs like complete trash. Like, the frame rate drops to 0 and hangs for like several seconds. So it's been bad. So we are on the last boss of that DLC, me and a couple homies, but we haven't been able to beat it because we are dying because the game is like freezing and locking up during the boss fight. So no, please. Like, I like Twitter. Like, Twitter in general is fun. I like, oh no, please God, no. Please God, no. I like talking to people on Twitter, and I like having some conversations, and the community in general is pretty great. Like, there's a lot of really fun, cool people on Twitter who love gaming and just want to talk about it. But I just, damn it. People just put so much stake into what platform that they're associated with, and it's weird. Like, obviously I'm biased in the sense that I prefer Xbox and talk primarily about Xbox stuff, but I pretty much never go out of my way to say anything negative about PlayStation, because I've owned PlayStations. I recognize that PlayStation has cool games. I have a Switch. I know that the Switch has great games. All of these platforms have something cool and unique to offer, and I think it's really just silly to write one off completely because you want to feel like your platform is superior. It's just it's kind of lame. Sorry, it's not kind of lame. It's really lame. Yeah, has it, or I've heard that like if you do that solo, that it's a lot easier. I was reading some kind of forums about it and seeing if other people had issues, and apparently it's pretty widespread, but the people who played it solo have had the fewest issues. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine to criticize a platform. I've criticized Xbox, I've criticized PlayStation. What's not fine is just being completely like oblivious to the criticisms and just putting up a wall and being super defensive and pretending like whatever platform that you play on is flawless, because both Xbox and PlayStation, they have their issues. Um, but you can't you just you don't get to ignore those issues. Um, and that's something that a lot of people do on the extreme spectrum. Obviously not everyone, but there's a lot of people who are like, take any positive from the other and spin it into a negative, which is insane. Yeah, there we go. We got Binya Big dropping the pro tips for them pre-orders, because apparently, yeah, GameStop is taking them, and I guess GameStop is, it's confusing to me with the Xbox at least, but GameStop is also doing kind of like a quote unquote all access type plan where you can go to GameStop and give them money every month. I'll buy a PS5 just for Demon Souls alone. Um, PlayStation has games every now and then that I'm super stoked about. I primarily play on Xbox, so any third party stuff I'll pick up on Xbox. And now that we know pretty much definitively that the Series X is a far more capable machine, like objectively speaking, we can get into the semantics regarding the SSD, but at the end of the day, the Series X is noticeably and significantly more powerful than PlayStation 5. That doesn't mean the PlayStation 5 is a bad console. People seem to, anytime I, inform people that the PlayStation 5 is not as good as the Series X, they assume that I'm saying that the PlayStation 5 is garbage and nobody should buy it, but that's not the case. The PS5 is a great machine as well. But there is going to be a noticeable difference, and I'm excited to see Digital Foundry and others kind of like do the deep side-by-side dives and kind of tear these things apart. PS5 security, I can't say for sure. I know they've been working to have a more secure network and not have all their users' important critical information stored on essentially a Word document. But I don't know. I don't know for sure. I assume they've learned their lesson at this point because they've had some pretty significant breaches in the past. Yeah, I haven't even tweeted this out. I haven't even let people know we're live. Dang, you boys slacking. I'm honestly stoked that crossplay is becoming more of a standard. Um, it's really cool to see. Like, obviously, we all have our preferred platforms, and it's always lame when you have a friend who has a different preferred platform. They pick up a game they're super stoked on, and you can't play with them. Because for me, I'm not really going to buy another console for a third party game. Like, if it's on both, I'm going to buy it on the platform that I want. If my friend buys it somewhere else, then we just don't play together, and that's kind of the end of it. So I'm glad that companies are pushing crossplay, because they know with crossplay there's going to be more people playing these games consistently, and the lifespan of the game is only going to be greater. So third party devs in particular, they're all about it because it just makes them more money. Obviously, PlayStation in particular has invested a lot of their business model into exclusives and tell all your friends to buy a PlayStation. But that's just, it's very antiquated. And I see people on Twitter like kind of like promoting that approach and supporting that approach. And while it's cool and it makes you feel special, I guess, within that ecosystem, it's kind of like being in an abusive relationship. Sony's like, hey, we want to make you feel special. But they also are just openly restricting how and where you can play and who you can play with. But because they're giving you, Spider-Man and things like that you're supposed to just kind of embrace that and be stoked about it, which, again, it's lame. It's a really lame mentality, and I'm not pooping on people who prefer PlayStation or anything like that. It's kind of lame. James Whitfield, Sepia, Evol. Who else we got in the mix? Can Fall Guys run on an MX250? I don't know. I don't have one to test it. I'm probably just gonna have to tank myself here so I can tweet this out like a true gamer. Oh, I got John messaging me personally because I'm ignoring his chats. What'd you say, John? I'm sorry. I'm Fall Guysing. I'm trying my best here. Trying to, moderate the chat and prove that I'm a real Fall Guys gamer. Just dunking on me. Just dunking on. What team? I don't even know what I'm doing. Some of these game modes in Fall Guys, like, don't get me wrong, Fall Guys is a great game, but half of the game modes kind of suck. Half of the game modes are kind of boring. Yeah, Cyberpunk certainly will not be launching in the Game Pass. Like, I know Xbox is putting a lot of money into Game Pass, but I can't even fathom what the price tag would be to get one of the most anticipated games of all time day one into Game Pass. I feel like even Microsoft doesn't want to pay for whatever that would look like. No. Yeah. Red team. Oh, eventually, sure. Yeah, I mean, once we saw Red Dead Redemption 2 come to Game Pass pretty shortly after launch, to me, that kind of put anything on the table in terms of third party. Again, I'm sure the price tag for Red Dead 2 was steep. And yeah, SD Empire, I totally agree. Xbox, in terms of value, in terms of services, definitely the best in gaming right now. And that's something that I feel like is kind of understated. Obviously, there's a ton of subscribers in Xbox Game Pass, especially when you compare it to like PS Now. But there's a lot of people, I think, because of their biases and their personal preferences, that just completely write off. Oh, this is going to be spicy to pay attention to the chat. And oh no, because of their personal biases, they just write off Game Pass completely because it's an Xbox service. And it's oh no, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I'm just going to follow the herd. Oh no! No! I hope this is right. Oh, if Uplay gets in the mix, oh my goodness. That would be bonkers. I mean, you're throwing Madden and FIFA into Game Pass, like that is the ultimate. The Series S in Game Pass is oh no. No! Wait, we're yeah. The Series S and Game Pass is the ultimate, like, quote unquote casual buy-in. Like, the fact that people this holiday season can either pay $300 and then $15 for hundreds of games, or $25 for a console and hundreds of games is insane. Is absolutely bonkers. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that service is incredible. Like, it's opened me and my friend group up to so many more games that we wouldn't normally play. There's been so many amazing, like Laser League. I don't know if any of you checked that out, but that was one of the first kind of like launch third-party games in Game Pass. Something that I maybe wouldn't have bought because it looked interesting, but it was like $30. Ended up absolutely loving Laser League. Such an amazing multiplayer game. I think multiplayer stuff in particular shines and with services like Game Pass, because again, like, what people don't realize when they critique services like Game Pass is that most people are not going to pay $60 per game. And if we can knock down that barrier with stuff like Game Pass, more people are going to play games and more people are going to be invested in the gaming industry and community, and that's just going to kind of increase the support of gaming in general. So I know you see people trying to spin that Game Pass it's ruining the industry, it's destroying the industry. But in my eyes, it's doing the exact opposite. I'm seeing people playing more games because they have Game Pass than ever before. Yeah, Brent. Oh, you reviewed Laser League, Brendan? Sick. I soundtrack's incredible, super underrated. But they were talking about that developer came out and talked about how much of a boon that Game Pass was for their player base and the success of that game. All right, so I'm gonna jump on the old tweeter real quick. Let peeps and fams know what's popping. If you're in here, slap that like button. Smash the like button. Share it with your friends. Share it with your grandma. Sorry, I'm trying to come to terms with the middle of the road approach between YouTube hype man and rational adult guy who plays games. But no, I mean, we got a decent amount of people in here for a Saturday morning. I appreciate everyone taking some time out of their day. Like I talked about earlier, our goal with this ultimately is going to be turning it into more of like a podcast inspired format with gameplay as well, because we want to keep it lax, laid back. Again, talked about this at the beginning, but we want to make this like you're hanging out in an Xbox party with your friends talking about Xbox stuff. And that's kind of the vibe that we're going for. So yeah, we're talking to some guests. We're talking to some people about getting on. So we're going to get some other people from the industry and the Xbox community to come hang out with us and play some games and talk about Xbox. But we don't really want it to be a super rigid, structured thing. So anything that you guys have questions on, anything you want to talk about, post it in the chat. I live in Colorado right now in Washington. So it's about 10:30 a.m. We do it typically later in the day for Jez. It's just so I don't have to get up at like 7 a.m. to stream. And the people who live in my time zone don't have to try to watch me at 7 a.m. Ooh, crap gamer? That would be a spicy episode. Again, like, I'm more than willing to talk to people who have different preferences, and it doesn't have to be nasty or toxic or hostile when you're having a conversation about differences in preference and platform, but Hazador is a legend in the Xbox community. This boy, he's a good dude. He supports a lot of creators. He supports a lot of Xbox-centric people. Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been an awesome dude. All right, bam. Posted this on Twitter. Now people know it's a thing. But yeah, and then I don't know how many of you watching the live streams prefer live streams over the video format. How many of you in here are aware that Windows Central has a gaming YouTube channel? I mean, obviously you're here now seeing it, but what percentage of you guys currently in here primarily watch the videos, and what percentage of you are primarily interested in more of like a podcast kind of format? Watching from New Zealand at 4:38. a.m. That's dedication. Respect. Cool. No, enjoying both is ideal. I mean, obviously, I spend a lot of time on the videos, and we've been working pretty hard to kind of set ourselves up as not to toot my own horn, but as kind of like an elevated Xbox coverage channel. So I spend a lot of time and effort producing stuff that's super high quality and kind of not me just sitting in front of the mic for 10 minutes, which, there's not anything against that, but I want to use this format for that kind of content where it's more off the cuff and kind of live, interactive. And then I want to keep the videos pretty tight and concise because just for me personally, like I love when a YouTuber and a creator respects my time. I like when they put a lot of care and love into their videos, and that's what we try to do with ours. Is we try to make them as respective as your time as humanly possible. So hopefully that comes across, but that's the goal. That is the goal, and then this will be the more kind of like long form, just Jez and I talking with people from the community about Xbox related stuff. Oh, RDX? Yeah, I had a lot of fun on RDX. I'm hoping to get back on there. They're a rowdy group of guys. It gets a little spicy when you have like eight dudes on one podcast, but it's a lot of fun. No, 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 no. Oh yeah, okay. It's gamer time. No, I'm getting just by the hair of my ass. I'm getting nailed. I'm getting nailed. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm committed. I only go down the middle. I don't care what it costs. I don't care if I lose. I'm going for the big play. Damn it. I'm going for the big plays every time. No, I like that idea a lot, Binyabik. There are a lot of white dudes in the gaming industry, and a lot of prominent white dudes in the gaming industry, and so I get that. Yeah, it's refreshing to get some other perspectives in for sure. If you guys do watch the videos, or if you don't, we actually just put up a pretty cool interview with the game director for the Outer Worlds Peril on Gorgon. So I got to sit down with Carrie Patel, and she was super cool, super nice, and we talked a little bit about the inspiration for Peril on Gorgon and her kind of journey at Obsidian and what it was like for her to go from her previous roles to the role of game director for Peril on Gorgon. So yeah, I mean, if you're interested in getting some more kind of female perspectives, that's something that we're totally interested in. I'm super interested in. If you are interested in that, I would definitely check it out. It was a cool interview, a great opportunity. And yeah, if there's any specific creators or people in the industry that you want to see on here, yeah, hit me up on Twitter, at Miles Dompierre, and then I'm more than happy to reach out because this is super early stages. We have Sean Labrie working on some graphics for us as well, so we're gonna have some graphics and some overlays so we can kind of turn this into a more again, not tight and structured, but a more polished and legit kind of weekly segment. Alana Pierce is awesome. I would love to have Alana Pierce on. She's, maybe a little too popular for us right now, but that's not going to stop me from reaching out and seeing what's up, what's good. But yeah, her channel's great. I watch a lot of her stuff on YouTube as well, and she's again a very great person to have in the Xbox community as well. Cool. Then I'll do some digging then. I'm yellow. Oh, yellow team's gonna lose because that's how this game works. I don't know if the Xbox Series X will support 21:9. I have one of my friends who's a big widescreen monitor guy, and he plays on PC primarily, but he's interested in the Series X. But he doesn't want the black bars on the side of his monitor. So I hope so. That would be a really nice feature for people who want widescreen monitor support, but I honestly haven't seen any information confirming that, so I can't really say. Paris Lily. Okay, cool. I need to go through this chat, take some notes. Paris Lily, Alana Pierce. And again, yeah, send me these on Twitter too, so I have them so they don't get lost in the chat. Ben Strandman, what's good? Good old Jez. I know Jez just ditched me this morning. Woke up to him being like, "Hey, I'm sick. I'm not gonna make it." I'm like, "Boy, we." No, hopefully he's doing okay. Hopefully he's feeling all right. I know it's the time zone for us is pretty extreme, so we gotta squeeze it in where we can. We're Windows Central Gaming Worldwide. Exactly. I know. I saw him on Twitter. I didn't want to call him out, but I mean, it's easier to tweet than it is to get, I guess, to jump on a podcast and talk to people. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. He just said he's not feeling well. So I wish him the best. I hope he feels better. And if he's eating spaghetti, I'm gonna have to beat him up a little bit. See, I don't even know I missed the last episode of Xbox 2, so I saw people on Twitter posting the bone cream, but I don't know the joke. I'm not in with that joke. I'm in with the filmic. I'm in with the filmic, but I don't know the bone cream. To be honest, what is this? You guys see this guy? What is going on here? Oh, it's the color of the Series S bone cream. Now that's metal. Dude. That's some heavy metal. I respect that's Microsoft tapping back into its like 80s logo roots. Bone cream. Oh, he's trying to remember the color at Robot White. Okay. Robot White, bone cream. That's the same. I feel like bone cream though probably is a pretty disgusting color. I feel like it's probably not a sexy next gen console color by any stretch. Oh no, please no. Oh yes, the Xbox Series V leak, very fake, very fake. That image, if you look closely at the logos, go back to that image, look at the logo specifically. The text is different thickness. Like you can see the Photoshop work on it for sure. That being said, I would love to see an Xbox Series X all digital. And deep down, I'm really hoping that once Sony comes out with their pricing and they kind of match and try to undercut the Series X, I would love to see Xbox be like, "Psych, we got one more," but I don't really know how likely that is at this point. But it would be, it would be spicy. It'd be really cool to see that kind of like back and forth happen. But the Series V images that you've seen going around are very fake. That being said, there is a third code name in the Xbox space right now that we're working to figure out what it might be. We're trying to figure out if that is another Xbox SKU or if it is strictly just a Project X Cloud server blade. That's probably more likely, is that they want a next gen quote unquote server blade for xCloud. And Binyabik, yes. If Sony undercuts, again, back to my tinfoil hat conspiracy about all of this. If PlayStation undercuts, I think that's what Xbox was maybe anticipating slightly, and that's why they didn't release all this pricing information and say you can pre-order now. They released all this pricing information and said, "Oh yeah, you can pre-order in like 2 weeks." So yeah, I would love to see Xbox just be like, oh, okay, Sony undercut. All right, well, okay, we've adjusted our pricing to reflect that. Like, that is the level of intense competition that I want to see from these guys right now. Because as it stands, PlayStation was already not ready for the Xbox pricing. The 2 price points that Xbox have right now are kind of the best case scenario for what a lot of us were expecting. And that puts Sony in a tight spot because we know that with the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, at $500, they pretty much break even. Once you factor in shipping, marketing, at $500 for the Digital Edition, the assumed less expensive PlayStation, they're breaking even. So the Series X at 500 puts them in a tight situation price wise. And yeah, Edinburgh is the code name floating around right now. But yeah, like I said, let's get spicy, let's get intense. I want to see these two just go at it. I mean, Xbox came out pretty strong with their pricing, which was awesome. This entire time I've been joking about how I wanted Xbox to come out first with a higher price point, be like, our consoles are 600 and 400, and then PlayStation come out and undercut them, and then Xbox comes in and undercuts that. Let's go. Keep it spicy. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see, but maybe not hyper realistic. There's a lot of moving pieces, but if PlayStation was going to drastically undercut the prices that we saw, and they were willing and ready to undercut the prices that we saw, they would have done it immediately. They wouldn't have let Xbox kind of dominate the conversation for pricing and next gen for an entire week. So that's kind of my suspicion, in the sense that PlayStation's figuring out right now what they can realistically do as a company to compete but also survive, because hardware is a larger factor in the PlayStation equation than it is for Xbox. Xbox can eat some cost. They have Microsoft backing it. They have Game Pass that's wildly successful to back it. PlayStation doesn't really have that backing. So for them, they really can't afford to eat $100 every console sold. They're going to probably break even or eat $50-ish, but $100 or more, which is what people are expecting, I don't know. I don't know. See, a lot of people are saying, obviously on paper, the SSD on the PS5 is faster, and I'm sure it's going to be super speedy. But what's going to be really interesting when these two consoles drop are seeing the comparisons between the Series X and the PS5 with Xbox Velocity architecture factored in, and their custom set utilizing basically a RAM pool, or using the SSD as almost like a RAM pool. So there's all these additional features and factors that aren't being factored in when you're looking at the raw speed of the throughput on the Series X compared to the PS5. And yeah, it kind of sucks the way everything came out. Obviously, it was leaked. Obviously, Windows Central was a big part of that leak. So, yeah, I mean, it also sucks for consumers to have to wait this long. So I'm kind of torn on the situation. Because yeah, we would have been waiting until this coming week to get that information. 6 weeks essentially before a console launch, which is a little wild. So yeah, it's it came out. Windows Central was involved with it coming out, and yeah, that's all I guess I'll say on that. No! Okay, get up, you little bean. You got this. I got my Halloween outfit all prepped for Fall Guys right now. I'm ready for spoopy time. Yeah, ultimately, I'm super happy with those prices. Like, again, that's what everyone was saying early on at the start of this year, that the prices were going to be that. And then as the year went on, people got more and more worried that, okay, if those were the prices, why haven't they said that yet? Like, what's being factored in? What's the reasoning here? And then it turned out just to be the prices that everyone was predicting at the start of the year. So I don't know. Oh yeah, totally understand. Totally understand that leaks impact people negatively in a lot of ways, and it's, it's a bummer that, there's such a, obviously there's a ravenous kind of desire for people to get that information. Typically the way we operate is, I don't know. I guess I won't really speak for Jez, but I'm excited for everyone to go back and play all of the Dead Space games when EA Play hits Game Pass, because Dead Space, the franchise, especially 1 and 2, 2 in particular, is still one of my favorite horror games of all time. Dead Space 2 is a masterpiece. But yeah, once you start factoring in stuff like FIFA and Madden into Game Pass, like I was talking about earlier, that is, you always and I'm going to go on another tangent real quick here, because people on Twitter think that they basically represent everyone in the gaming, everyone who plays video games is represented by the hardcore group of people who post on Twitter constantly, which is so far from the truth. The reality is only a small percentage of people are like us and heavily invested in the gaming industry and community and are on there posting every day. But they like to speak for the people who aren't out there and assume all these things. So you always have the people talking about, the people who only play Call of Duty and Madden, they're not going to buy an Xbox to upgrade. They're not going to do that. But when you tell like the average person that for $25 or for $300 and then $15 they can play Madden on a new console, like, that is a huge draw to a ton of people. And I really don't, I don't know. It's again, this is more of a tangent. This is more of a rant, but I'm getting really annoyed with people assuming the worst of everyone, assuming that the average person who's not a hardcore gaming industry enthusiast is a just idiot. And it's annoying. Like, I know people personally who, oh no, I wasn't paying attention at all. Yeah, I know people personally who are not super invested in the gaming industry, don't spend any time on Twitter, that still play video games. And it's not fair for these people to assume what they're interested in and what they're going to buy and what they're going to play. And it's just, I don't know. Again, just going off on a tangent, but don't be that asshole who assumes that every person who isn't hardcore in the gaming industry can't read or Google something, because that argument is just getting really exhausting for me. Go ahead. What am I doing? I don't know. I don't know. Everyone just, oh, that mob mentality. Everyone just go to the same spot. Ooh. Okay. Mm-hmm. I haven't played Party Hard 1. I like the premise of it though. Binyabek, I totally get you there. I'm in the opposite camp. I play a ton of games. I gotta watch my profanity here. I play a ton of games, and I hate when people when I when people call me a gamer. When I talk about, like, what I'm into and what I do, and I talk about, oh yeah, I play a lot of video games. I'm like, oh, so you're a gamer? I'm like, I play video games. I don't. Please don't call me a gamer. It's very reductive of someone. We're all more than gamers. Some of us, gaming is maybe our primary hobby. I know that's the case for me, but just for someone to be like, "Oh, you're a gamer." Okay. There was actually there were some works to basically completely revamp the Xbox achievement system. That was absolutely in the works. I'm hoping that it still comes down the pipeline. But yeah, they're trying to figure out a way to make. We're gonna lose, huh? Oh. They're trying to figure out a way to make it work. They're trying to figure out a way to make it have more value again because everyone's gamer tags are getting kind of bloated, and you just have this massive number. Jez is in the chat. What up, boy? Take some Pepto and get your ass in here. Just kidding, bro. Hope you're feeling okay. And Jez, there is a low latency option that I figured out. So we do have that option to do low latency on YouTube as well, which is huge. So now I can give you some grief in real time, baby. Oh, I'm just spectating. Yeah, I need to figure out some stuff as well though, because I don't even know if my game audio is coming through on the stream, to be honest. Just been rambling, just been ranting and raving, Jez. Well, yeah, we got an awesome crew of people hanging out on this fine Saturday morning, evening, early morning for some folks in New Zealand. Wunderbar. So, of the games that we know are coming out this holiday season for sure, if you guys had to pick 3, if you could only buy or play 3 games this holiday season, what are you guys looking at right now? What's the top 3? I'll let you guys chime in and then I'll give you mine. I guess I'm just spectating. I don't have to spectate. I've already been eliminated. I've already failed as a human. Yakuza, Cyberpunk, Medium. Ooh, that's a solid list. Oh, Cyberpunk. Gears 5? All right. We got a person of culture in the chat. I'm with you on that one. Gears 5 on the Series X. That'll be in my top 3. Cyberpunk is, yes, supposed to come out November. So far, we're on track. So far, they haven't posted anything concerning, but I'm still cautiously optimistic that we'll see it. Apathy Mata. Jez is actually lurking in the chat. Apparently, he's got a little tum-tum ache, so he's not doing well. Oh, the Ascent. Ascent looks awesome. Yeah, I'm very interested in checking out the Ascent. That seems like a really good. I'm a big co-op guy. Like I play a ton of co-op games with my friends, and so if there's co-op, I'll probably lean towards it more so than if there's not. So the Ascent is definitely one I'm looking at as well. Scorn looks. I'm a big H.R. Geiger fan, and that art style is just so gross, so disgusting looking, but so interesting. And again, I'm a big horror guy as well. So the Scorn, the Medium, I'm gonna be all about. The Medium is probably my most anticipated game for launch window. Okay, Tool, yeah, Tool and Danzig have both infamously used his artwork and his stylings for album art. So definitely some heavy metal horror vibes, which is kind of what I'm all about. If you look at my Twitter bio, it's one of the 3 tenets of my personality online. Oh, that dive. Crossfire X, yeah, that's launch window-ish. I don't know if we've, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if there's a set date for Crossfire X yet, because there's the multiplayer portion, which the beta was out not too long ago, and then, oh no, and then there was the single-player campaign from Remedy. Oh no! Rocky and Pocky, I have no idea. Really? Oh, just head first into the fan. I'm still in it. I'm still kicking. I'm hot trash. Just turn off the stream. Don't watch me. Oh, I'm still gonna qualify. I'm definitely really happy we're seeing more Japanese dev support on Xbox in general. Like getting all the Final Fantasies confirmed that they're coming, having Dragon Quest XI launch in Game Pass. Oh yeah, sign me up. And yeah, I'm glad that Square is no longer just writing off Xbox completely. That's very refreshing for me. There's a lot more Square support, and I hope that continues. I'm tired of seeing. I mean, obviously, Final Fantasy was a timed exclusive, but Sony wanted to make sure that that was. But speaking of which, I wonder if that's still on track for April, because it was a 1-year exclusivity deal. But I know the whole COVID situations impacted a lot of different things. Oh yeah, playing Final Fantasy VII on the Series X. Oh, the way it was intended to be played. All right, sorry. Let me catch up on the chat here. Yeah, I might actually. This might make some people salty, but I've never actually played The Witcher 3. I've installed it like 3 different times, but I've never played it. And then I saw that it was getting some Series X enhancements. Oh no, you dirtbag. Don't! And then I was like, okay, maybe now's the time. I say that knowing full well I'll probably never play it. See, that's what I'm trying to get Jez into. We should do Dark Souls 3. If Jez is still lurking in the chat, we need to do Dark Souls 3 for our streams. I know, don't hate me. It's not that I don't think The Witcher looks amazing. It looks like an amazing game. I've played Witcher 2. I know how thick the game is. I know how beefy and dense it is, and I just haven't been able to mentally prepare myself for that journey, because I want to, when I dive into The Witcher 3, I want to make sure that I can really sink my teeth into it and just go all in. And every time that I get ready to play it, something else comes out, or I realize that I don't have the time to commit, and I don't want to play it for like 5 hours and stop. No, I honestly didn't finish The Witcher 2. I was honestly in the camp that The Witcher combat circa 1 and 2 was kind of janky. So I played it for maybe 10 hours. I've heard some rumors of the like Sega Game Pass partnership, and that would be amazing. I hope that's one of the big kind of surprise announcements for the holiday, is that Yakuza Like a Dragon is launching in Game Pass. I really hope that that's something that they can pull off, because that would be huge. And because it's really cool to see that on the Series X launch, we have a lot of the big third-party games, Yakuza, Assassin's Creed, and I think Dirt technically comes out the Friday before, but yeah, I've talked to friends who've played The Witcher 3 for hundreds of hours, and I'm just like, oh. Again, I want to play it, I want to enjoy it, but it's a whole lot of game. Oh dang! Oh, backwards compat for original Dreamcast games with the like beefy Series X enhancements. That would be, whew, that'd be some serious nostalgia for a lot of people. That'd be really cool. I didn't even think about that, but that would be such a that would be a wild announcement. People would not see that coming. But it's crazy seeing what they've been able to do with the backwards compatibility program, with OG Xbox in particular. Like going back and playing games like Hunter the Reckoning in 4K and 60 FPS. It's crazy how solid and tight those games look. Ooh, Jet Set Radio. That was one of the games that I was hoping Xbox would just kind of like sneak back into the mix going into this gen, but you know, a lad can dream. Maybe one day we'll see a new Jet Set Radio. But I don't know. People also didn't really care about Sunset Overdrive, which bummed me out because that was like a punk version of Jet Set Radio, and that game was awesome. But it just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if the marketing wasn't good or what the deal was, or if that it just came out when Xbox's PR was at an all-time low, so people just wrote it off completely. But Sunset Overdrive is a great game. Ooh, just squeaking by. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Binyabik, I think you're exactly right. Like if that game had come out on PS4, went back when it first launched, and PS4 had a lot of like positive momentum within the gaming community, I think that game would have been huge. And it's unfortunate that that game suffered due to the really disastrous Xbox One launch. It sucks that Xbox One launch, happened in general. Xbox is obviously still kind of paying for that launch to this day, and that's going to be rough for them to shake. But hopefully, with the next gen, they can start on a clean slate. They've been obviously winning a lot more people back in recent years and winning people over in recent years with Game Pass and some pretty great titles. But yeah, the Xbox One launch set them back a lot. Because what's insane to think about is that Xbox, a relatively new company in the gaming space, was able to surpass the PS3 for most of that generation. Which again shows you the monumental failure of the launch of the PS3. The PS2 was insane. Everyone had a PS2. The PS2 was massive. And then the PS3 came out and everyone just jumped to Xbox for a long time. So PlayStation's obviously a bigger global brand. They have a lot more followers in that sense, but it's really understated how huge it was for Xbox on their second console to surpass PlayStation. Oh no. Yeah, I had a GameCube. I played Super Mario Sunshine is a masterpiece. I know people try to write it off and say it's the worst 3D Mario, but some people are just ignorant. I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say. Super Mario Sunshine is the second best 3D Mario outside of Mario Odyssey, which is the best 3D Mario. Quantum Break was great as well, but the TV show segments were pretty lame. Like the TV show sections, despite the fact that they had so many great actors involved, were lame. It really pulled me out of the game every time I had to sit there and watch this like insanely low budget like TV drama. Like maybe if the production value of the TV show segments were better, it would have been like a more enjoyable experience. But oh my god, that was shot on like an iPhone. I don't know what they were doing. Like, why spend all this money on these actors and then just spend $15 on the cameras used to film it? I was really kind of blown away by how bad that looked. Yeah, I think it would have been better received if the performance was a little bit better, because Remedy games look great. Remedy games look really good, but they're demanding. Like, you look at the Control when that launched. Oh my god, that FPS just was destroyed. Even on high-end PCs, that performance was crushed. Like, they put a ton of particle effects and a ton of physics in their games, which is awesome. It makes them feel and look really great, but whew. Make sure I've said hi to everyone in the chat right now. Make sure I didn't miss anybody in my just terrible Fall Guys playing. Yeah, I haven't picked up Control yet. I'm going to as soon as as soon as I can play it on the Series X, I'll pick it up. I have a pretty solid gaming rig as well, but like, talking to some friends who have similar specs to me, they were saying that as it stands now, it runs better, but when the game launched, it was pretty brutal. Like 14 and below frames per second, like serious slowdowns. Oh, oh. Have you, Binyabik, have you played all three chapters? I've finished chapter 1 of Tell Me Why, and I really liked it. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but it starts off pretty slow. There's some kind of slower burn character development in the beginning, but they start ramping up to some really cool kind of spooky supernatural stuff at the end of episode 1 that I'm really interested in seeing play out. Game looks absolutely beautiful, but yeah, I will say it runs and looks significantly better than Life is Strange. That game, oof, while the story was great, the performance and visuals were not. That game looked pretty bad. Yeah, from when I heard originally, the plan before pre-COVID, pre the world kind of going up in flames, was Series X in September for the hardcore, and then the Series S in November alongside the PS5. That sounds like that was Microsoft's original strategy, and that's why there were some kind of games slated for September, like Cyberpunk in particular, was supposed to be the kind of third-party showcase for the Series X. Unfortunately, that's been pushed back. Yeah, so that, from what I've heard, that was the original plan. Yeah, I really love the way they've handled the characters in Tell Me Why. Like, they haven't made any of the characters, like, at least that I've seen, like annoying cliches by any means. So you have a trans main character, and you have a lot of kind of like, I guess, just ignorant people who don't really get it from this small town in Alaska. And the way that they've handled even those characters has been pretty cool. Like, they aren't like the aggressive cliches that you would expect. They don't get it, and they're kind of insulting, but the way they kind of handle those interactions is pretty interesting. And you can kind of like show that these people don't necessarily have bad intentions. They just don't get it. And so it's kind of cool to have that opportunity to talk to these characters in a way that's not like, oh, this person is a piece of shit and that's the end of the discussion. So I like that a lot. Like, I like that they have a trans character that's really cool and relatable, um, and feels very genuine. Like, nothing feels like, not campy, but overly dramatic or overly stereotypical at all. Because it's obviously some very like touchy subject matter, and it could have gone very offensive or very, I don't know, insulting really fast. But yeah, great characters, and they've handled those topics really well. Which is great, because like, with a game like that, you want the storytelling to be good. you want to be able to connect with these characters. And when you can have people who've experienced those things pull their experiences into the writing, it goes a long way. Oh yeah, I was going to say the 3 games that I was most. No, I already did. I think I already said the 3 games I was most interested in. Scorn, Medium, and I don't know, Gears 5. I'll play Cyberpunk as well, but I'm going to wait until the Series X enhancements come out for Cyberpunk, because that's another kind of downside about that game launching this fall, is that it won't even get a lot of the cool enhancements until next year. Dude, seriously, those people are the worst. The people who get to the finish line and just stand there and grab you as you're trying to cross. Come on. What in God's name is wrong with you? I know. See, that's the thing. Like, I have a decent rig, so I could just pick it up on PC. I got my RTX, so I could, enjoy the niceties and the ray tracing. But my achievements, my Xbox ecosystem, like, I just want it to be out, and I want everything to be dialed in, because the way that Xbox is kind of presenting this kind of all-in-one approach, in the sense of, like, you have your console, you have your PC, you have your phone. Like, I can access my library from anywhere. I want to invest in that, and so I don't want to buy it on PC for Steam, for example, or Epic, because I already have a pretty sizable library, and I want to be able to have the option to kind of access that wherever. Ooh, yeah, those Microsoft reward, ooh, those Game Pass rewards, free. That's another thing that people don't really talk about enough. Is not only is Game Pass the best deal in gaming by far, but the reward system literally pays you money to play Game Pass games. I think I have like 20 some bucks right now in rewards from just doing Game Pass quests. And then the rewards in general, obviously, it's like a rewards program. So what is it, 1%, maybe less, of what you spend in the Xbox store you get back as rewards as well. But yeah, give me the option to play it wherever I want. Let me play Cyberpunk on my phone. I probably won't, but let me have that option, damn it. Oh my god, no. Oh no, oh wow, okay, that went downhill real quick. People are getting good at Fall Guys. People getting real good at Fall Guys. So what predictions do we have for the PlayStation showcase on Wednesday, now that that's confirmed? They've stressed the fact that they're going to be talking about a bunch of games. Do we have any wild predictions as to new announcements from the old Sony folks? I keep hearing about some big old. Oh, I'm just spectating. All right, I'll just talk for a bit and watch these people play. I keep hearing inklings of a big old exclusive, big old timed exclusive. I could see Final Fantasy. I could see Final Fantasy 16 happening. I don't really know. Like, Grand Theft Auto would obviously be huge. That would obviously be a huge get, but I honestly don't know if Sony has the money for that. Like, Rockstar at this point knows how much money they make and how many copies they sell and how much money they make from the online microtransactions. So for them just to basically restrict a huge percentage of the audience from those microtransactions specifically, Sony would have to shell out an ungodly amount of money to make that happen. Final Fantasy's probably more realistic because you don't have the microtransactions to necessarily factor in, so they could put down a more solid number. But if you look at the amount of money that Grand Theft Auto 5 Online generates each month, it's insane. It's staggering how much money they make. You don't think they'll reveal the price next week, Johan? Why do you say that? You seem confident that they won't reveal the price next week. You're telling me for sure they won't. Yeah, 2K and Rockstar, like, not to discredit Sony, but I don't personally think they have the money for that kind of deal. I don't think anyone has the money for that kind of deal. Sony likes to play dirty, but if they're selling consoles at a loss, I don't know if they're going to be in the market or available to shell out. It would have to be $1 billion. Like, I imagine it would have to be like that much money to get the exclusivity for Grand Theft Auto, and I don't know that Sony would be even able to pay that. Yeah, they would be. Again, I'm very curious to see what Sony does because they've been very quiet since the Xbox reveal, and I've heard there's been some really hard, really tough conversations about what they're gonna do with pricing. Because I think ultimately they were trying to break even at least with their consoles, and now we're talking about them selling it at massive losses. Yeah, everyone was kind of waiting for and that's the reason I don't think that Sony has intentions of undercutting the current pricing. They are maybe trying to figure out how they can logistically match it. I think that's where they're at right now is like, okay, what can we do to match this pricing? Obviously, we don't want to release our console at a higher price point because, on paper, we know that our console isn't as powerful. And if we're trying to sell a less powerful console for more money, they're just going to be in a similar situation to where the Xbox One was for that launch. So I think the conversations right now are, what the hell do we do to make sure that we can match these prices and not just eat all this projected profits that we were expecting for the holidays? Don't. Let's just watch this one play out. Let's just see where this one goes. Gives me a second to catch up on the old chat here. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Sony shows off on Wednesday. I'm hoping they have some pretty cool game announcements. I'm hoping it's not all really shitty timed exclusives, which I think a lot of it will be. But I want to see some Demon Souls gameplay. We got a little taste. There's been talks that might potentially be a launch title for PS5, which would be, for me personally, I'd be pretty stoked about Demon Souls. I'm a big old Souls lad, as we know. Yeah, it's again, the timed exclusive thing is like a necessary evil for a lot of these companies because, if you don't have the first party stuff, you got to give people an incentive to buy your console. So I get it from a business standpoint, but from a customer standpoint and a developer standpoint, it puts me in a tough position where realistically I probably won't wait. I probably just won't buy the game at all. Like, it's usually where I end up with those timed exclusives. Like, I'm not going to buy a PS5 for this game, and I'm not going to buy it on PS5 when I know it's coming to my console at some point. But at the same time, after a year, I've probably lost interest, and there's probably some other stuff coming out that I'm going to play. So it sucks. Those situations suck for the customer, like the consumers who have a preferred platform. It's just kind of like it's like what Nintendo's doing with the 3D All Stars collection. They're trying to force you to buy something that there's no in this specific window when there's really no reason for it to be tied to any specific window or time frame. Yeah, Demon Souls, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Gran Turismo, and Ratchet and Clank, I think were the only ones that weren't timed exclusives to some degree. But the way Sony does a good job of like kind of inconspicuously marketing that. So they have their dedicated showcase where they blend together their actual exclusives and these games that they want people to assume are exclusive, I guess. And you see people, again, people who aren't as invested in the gaming industry and kind of conversation, like they do assume that those are exclusive. They see these games at the Sony showcase and they say, "Oh, sick. This is a PS5 exclusive." When really it's not, but you can't fault Sony for working some kind of PR magic with that, because they're not flat out saying that they're exclusive by any means. They're just, subconsciously suggesting that. Yeah, those Bethesda games will. Those games looked cool. I love that the development team. Deathloop looks awesome. I'm stoked for that. I'm getting really over Bethesda as a publisher, because they have just proven time and time again that they are just going to take the easiest, quickest money they can every time. And it's just, I don't know, it makes it really hard for me to want to support their releases when I know that publisher just doesn't really care about its customers at all. So Bethesda, of all people, it was really annoying to see Deathloop as a timed exclusive. If it was a full-on PlayStation exclusive, okay, whatever. If they were able to take advantage of some PlayStation features and do something significantly unique and different, whatever, that's fine. But for it to be a timed exclusive, I'm just kind of like, eh. It just shows Bethesda's mostly interested in the short-term gains. But again, I can't fault these publishers when somebody comes to you and offers you a bunch of money, a bunch of guaranteed money. Because what a lot of people don't realize as well is that putting out a game is a huge risk. You spend years and years and millions of dollars and all this time and all this effort, and it's a risk. You put a game out there and there's no guarantee whatsoever, especially with a new IP, that it's going to sell well. So I understand from a publisher's perspective, if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, here's a guaranteed stack of money. We want your game. It looks cool. We believe in it. We want it to do well. Here's a stack of money. So that way, no matter what happens, you and your team are okay, but we want this only on our platform." Like, I understand as a publisher, it's probably hard to turn that down when you have all these people and all these developers counting on you to make sure their game is successful. I understand that aspect of it. So it's hard for me to fault them there, because, yeah, a publisher's job is to make sure that a game sells well and make sure that these, development teams that put a lot of time and money and effort into these games are successful. So I don't know. Do I think that Sony is holding one or two games back to react? Or do I think that Xbox is holding one or two games back to react to Sony? I'm torn on this. I'm very torn on this. I personally don't think we'll see any mega announcements first party wise from Xbox for this year in this launch cycle. I've talked about this on other podcasts before, and Xbox put all of their eggs into the Halo basket for first party and Cyberpunk 2077 for the third party basket. They wanted Cyberpunk to be the showcase of third party games look and play better on Xbox. No doubt, definitive, they wanted to use Cyberpunk as that. Halo was supposed to be the first party, like, get everyone invested in the platform, because these are what our new premier first party games look like. So no, I don't think we'll see anything this year. That being said, people are faulting Xbox on their lineup compared to Sony's, but arguably we have a better idea of what Xbox has coming down the pipeline than what Sony has coming down the pipeline. Because we know a ton of games are coming to Xbox, and outside of the few launch window titles, we don't really know what Sony's working on. So granted, at launch there won't be a ton, but at least down the road we know what to expect from Xbox Game Studios. Oh, Neo is awesome. I love Neo. Again, as a big Souls guy, that was a big get. That was one of the games that I definitely bought on PlayStation. Definitely. And yeah, Obsidian is absolutely crushing it right now. The Outer Worlds, I was shocked by how much I loved that. The Outer Worlds, in my eyes, was better than any Fallout game or any Bethesda Fallout game. I'm absolutely loving Grounded as like a small kind of survival game. Avowed, obviously, is going to be the quote-unquote Skyrim killer. But I have way more faith in Obsidian than I do with Bethesda right now. After Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, again, it goes back to the fact that Bethesda is not investing in new tech. They just want to make money. I can't believe they're using that same god-awful, antiquated engine. If the new Skyrim does not show me a brand new, fully reimagined engine, I will not buy that game. I will not buy the new Skyrim if they can't tangibly prove to me that they spent some time and effort in refining that experience. Oh yeah, Outer Worlds. I just went with the graviton hammer and just bash skulls my entire game. But having the slow mo option, I didn't even mind. I didn't even mind that I only wanted to use that. I just wanted to go in slow mo and just bash some skulls. Um, it was just fun. It just reminded me of like the classic kind of quirky Fallout titles. The science weapons were a blast. And the thing that was most interesting to me, and an area that I think Bethesda has completely failed in compared to Obsidian, is the conversations and the dialogue and the characters. The characters in Outer World and the Outer Worlds were better than any characters in any Bethesda game. Like, they were better acted, the conversations were more interesting. I didn't want to just mash A through the dialogue to get it over with like I typically do with a Bethesda game. And I'm sorry if I'm triggering any hardcore Bethesda fans. They've made great games. Fallout 3 for a long time was one of my favorite like RPGs of all time. I absolutely loved Fallout 3. I loved Skyrim. Yeah, Parallel Gorgon's pretty great. I'm a couple hours in. I haven't finished it so far, but I really love the super campy, pulpy, like serial drama vibe that they go for with that. Again, like I talked about earlier, I don't know how many people were still here, but we actually just posted an interview with the game director of Parallel Gorgon earlier this morning on the channel. Got to sit down with Carrie, who was super cool and talked about the kind of inspirations for it and what players can expect and like how to access the DLC. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Skyrim again. Skyrim on the Xbox Series X. Why not? Let's go. Let's keep the meme alive. I just hope that Todd Howard becomes a skin at least the next time they release Skyrim. I hope that we can get a Todd Howard skin at the very least. Oh, just dominating. Just dominating some fall ball. Mad Max was kind of a sleeper hit. Yeah, that game was really cool. I saw that it was a Mad Max game, and I was confused as to why they were releasing a Mad Max game. And then I played it, and yeah, it was super fun. What game series do we want to come back next gen? Phantom Dust, you cowards. Phil Spencer, if you're watching this right now, you better give me Phantom Dust on the Series X. Tail stole tail tag. Tail tag is the worst mode in this game by far. Yeah, Banjo needs to come back. Like, I'm not even the biggest Banjo fan, but for the sake of the Banjo fans, come on, guys. Like, give them something. Give them something. And then Soul Reaver would be so cool. That was, but at the same time, it's kind of nostalgic. It's the ultimate '90s game. Like, it was trench coats and vampires and industrial music. It was so late '90s, early 2000s that it was. I don't know. I feel like some of that would be lost if they redid it. But yeah, Phantom Dust is, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter or don't really know much about me, it's the game that I stan more than any other Xbox game by far. You can play the Phantom Dust remaster that they did for free. It was the one. I don't like using hyperbole, but it was a multiplayer game that was so far ahead of its time. It had deck building in a game before deck building was really mainstream. It's pretty much Magic the Gathering meets Dragon Ball Z. So you have these super over the top abilities, and you have a deck that you can customize. So it's this really great, tight, compact, competitive arena game where you get to build your deck and you get to do everything in real time. So you're not just playing cards; you have your deck and you're kind of using these abilities on the fly. Ooh, Enslaved? Oh, that would be. Oh, that's another underrated gem. That game's great. Mobility in that game just felt so incredible. Viva Pinata. Rare has a lot of like great IPs that I want to see them revisit. Grab by the Ghoulies? Come on. Give us a Grab by the Ghoulies too. I absolutely loved that game. But I don't know. I honestly don't know if Ball in Wonder World is a launch title. It's supposed to come out this year, I believe, but I don't know that I have seen the date. I don't remember if the date was in that trailer. That looks really cool. That looks like classic old school Sega in every way. So over the top. So over the top. Sarthok, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. We are talking about whatever you'd like. We're keeping this low-key chill vibes. We're talking about right now franchises that we'd like to see come back on Xbox. We've been talking a little bit about Xbox Series S, Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5's event on Wednesday, and everything in between. See, I'm a little bit torn. I honestly kind of like that Rare is willing to take risks and constantly willing to try new IP. That is like one of the most exciting things about gaming is seeing these new IPs and ideas come to life. Sequels are great and we kind of know what to expect and you have the franchise that you love. But Sea of Thieves, while I understand the critiques and I understand that not everyone likes the gameplay loop, that is a game unlike any other. And to be able to do that in this day and age is such an impressive feat. It's so insane to think about all the games that are out there and how many games are made and what it really takes to sit down with a group of people and developers and say, we're going to make something completely new. We're going to make a new game with a new gameplay loop that is unlike anything else. And that's, to me, the most impressive thing about Sea of Thieves. You can't really compare that to any other game. That was such a cool, distinct, unique experience. And again, I understand that for some folks, they didn't like that, and it wasn't perfect. But I have to give them huge props for doing that. Taking the time to make a game that is genuinely unique. And that is one of the biggest challenges in gaming today. Yeah, Playtonic would be a great fit. Obviously, like some of those people were involved with Banjo, so that would be an easy transition, an easy fit. What I want to see is I want to see Double Fine make Banjo. That's what I want to see. Now that we got a Double Fine on deck, I want to see a really weird Banjo game. Let's bring it back and let's make it weird. No, no, no. Damn it, no, please. Not like that. No. God. And this is where, okay. Woo. No, don't grab me. Don't do it, dude. Oh, take that, you beast. Ooh, Double Fine Conquer? Well, that would be interesting. It would be hard to see. It would be hard for Conquer to come back in this day and age. Like, I don't know what they would do and have it not be either cringy as hell or like super soft. I get soft, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but oh god, jump, little bean. You got this. Ah! Well, you can do it. Oh. No. I'm not making it. I'm just gonna accept my fate. Ah! Yeah, Double Fine. Those guys, again, another team that's great at making new ideas, and they're not afraid to try new ideas. And that's one cool thing that I will say about the gets from Xbox Game Studios is that they seem to be focusing on studios who are willing to try new things and take risks, as opposed to kind of safe studios that have obviously they have safe studios like Coalition and you know Turn 10 who are going to make the same thing over and over. But I think they realized that they needed more diverse portfolios that were willing, or more diverse studios that were willing to take some risks. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the official launch for the X Cloud will be on the 15th. I've been in the beta for a while, and I've on my cell network. It's 4G LTE and it's okay. Like there's noticeably more latency on my um, phone than there is when I do my dual band Wi-Fi at home. Like dual band Wi-Fi at home for me has been solid. Like really low latency. So I've been pretty impressed with that. I will say, like if you're having network issues, if you have dual band, that makes a huge difference. Because at first I had my phone connected via just 2.4, and I was having some serious latency issues, like noticeable. Like trying to play Gears 5 was pretty hard, and then I switched over to dual band, and that made a huge difference. Still noticeable compared to native, but I was able after a couple seconds I was able to adapt to Gears 5, which is pretty fast paced, pretty fast. Yeah, yeah, like Binyabik said, if you need the 5 gigahertz for sure. If you want like a decent, enjoyable experience, you got to have that. And yeah, to your point, I would also like to see another Recore. I thought that was a great franchise as well. Again, it came out in a time when Xbox wasn't giving their teams a lot of money. The budgets for their games were small, and these teams had to like just try to make do with what they had financially, and that shows in games like Recore. So it's a great foundation, a great concept for a game, but I don't know, pretty barren landscapes for the most part. Kind of repetitive, very limited enemy variety, but like to have that idea and see it fully fleshed out would be amazing. Like I really liked Recore. I played through it, but you could tell that it was a low budget game. Not that there's anything inherently bad with a low budget game, but because like I said, I enjoyed it. I beat it. I played through it, but Oh, Scalebound. R.I.P. to Scalebound. I don't see that one coming back. That'll be just a fun little anecdote in gaming history. Oh, so you are using 5 gigahertz. Dang. And 300 down. That should be solid. I'm using I got a gigabyte down, or gigabit down, but even in my previous house, we had, I think, 400 down. Wasn't too bad. But yeah, your network sounds like it's definitely solid enough to handle it. Where are you at? Where are you located? Are you in the US? Oh yeah, Fall Guys, a prime example of a low budget game that's exploded, but it had the fun, goofy multiplayer component to it, which goes a long way for these lower budget games. Like, I don't know if you guys have played Human Fall Flat, but that game's absolutely hilarious, incredible. It's on Game Pass if you haven't checked it out, but that's just a dumb party game. Puzzle-based ragdoll physics game. Super low budget. Almost no textures to anything, but God, it's so fun. Okay, in Canada. Huh, I don't know. I'd reach out to Xbox support on Twitter and see what the deal is. And your network's been pretty consistent? Human Fall Flat is equal parts fun and frustrating. Yeah, it's some of those puzzles are tough. Takes some collaboration and takes some thinking, some big brain. Or you can cheese it. We figured out how to climb in that game, so you can literally just latch yourself onto a wall and just cheese the triggers and sticks up and down and climb walls. It's hard to get down, but if you can figure it out, it pretty much ruins all the puzzles in the game. So, in that sense, it's a little disappointing, but still fun. Ooh, Overcooked. Yeah, Overcooked is another one that another great party game. So fun. So frustrating though. Like that game, whoo! When you're playing with some friends, that's a good friendship destroyer right there. When you got your buddy who won't put the damn rice in the rice cooker and you're trying to make sushi wraps. It's a little frustrating. Oh yeah, Overcooked is a blast. I love it. Again, in Game Pass, if you haven't checked that out, so good. So good, so hilarious. Just you and your friends yelling at each other for not cooking cheeseburgers right. I said no lettuce! I hope BioWare comes back to its former glory. They've been struggling hard, and it's really disappointing to see. And from what it sounds like, a lot of people want to blame EA, but from what I've heard, it doesn't even sound like it's really EA's fault. It just sounds like the management for that studio has been an absolute mess, and they've been over-promising and forcing their teams to like do what was it, BioWare magic, as they call it, like pull off these really insane turnarounds for games that shouldn't come out in the state that they do. So I hope their next project is great. I hope they deliver the goods and give fans, the games that they've been wanting. But I don't know. I don't know anymore. All right. Well, what time is it here? It's about 11:55 my time. All right, I'm gonna hang out for another 10 minutes. If you got any other juicy questions or anything you want me to touch on, start slamming out the questions in the chat. To everyone who's been hanging out, Hazador, Sepia, Binyabik, Rhinodon? Sorry if I'm butchering that. Who else? Brad, Sartka, and everyone else who's been hanging out in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming and hanging out on a Saturday. Hopefully you had fun. Next time, Jez hopefully should be okay. Hopefully his tum-tum's feeling better. Yeah, what do we got here? Question, Miles, what's your favorite game of the gen? That is a big, bold question. My favorite game of the gen. Okay, I'll give you top 3. That's a little bit easier for me. Sea of Thieves is one of my favorite games of the gen. Sea of Thieves is one of my favorite games of all time. Again, I understand the critiques. I'm not going to argue against people who don't connect with the loop. But for me and what that team has done, Sea of Thieves is one of the coolest and most unique gaming experiences that's ever been made. So kudos to Rare. Kudos to that team. Those people clearly love what they're doing. They clearly have great ideas. What other games of the gen? Oh, Dark Souls 3. No questions at all. Dark Souls 3 is the single best RPG that's ever been made. Dark Souls 3 is an absolute masterpiece. I can't really recommend it to people who haven't played the previous Dark Souls games because unfortunately, the very first boss, like 10 minutes into the game, is a brutal skill check. Like, it kind of sucks that they put in such a brutal barrier to entry. It's not bad for longtime fans, but if you just dived into Dark Souls 3 as your first Dark Souls, my God, that boss is brutal. That boss is so brutal. If you're not a caster for that first boss fight, like, you look at the achievement on Xbox, only like 40 or 50% of people beat the first boss 10 minutes into the game. That's insane. That's half the people who played that game didn't beat the very first boss, which it sucks because they don't get to experience the rest of that game. But it was kind of shitty for From Software to put a boss that was that brutal like that early on. You can't grind. Yep, and then you fight him again later on. But at that point, you're already like geared up. You're stacked. You've had time to grind up gear. Like, at that first part, you can't level up at all. So you just have to go in there with your base stats and beat this boss, like, purely based on skill. Like, Dark Souls, you can typically like grind and level up throughout it. But that first boss, you just gotta, as they infamously say, get good. Where is Elden Ring? Exactly. Where is Elden Ring? That we haven't seen anything on that game in a year. Radio silence. I've heard some unfortunate stories that it's in sort of development hell right now. So we might be seeing that game like 2022. Sounds like the open world concept that they're working on is a little more involved than they're expecting, and they're having some development issues. So yeah, we might not get that game for a little while. I was originally expecting that game to drop in like March of 2021, but that ain't looking likely, as we have not even seen a second of gameplay at this point. And then my third game of the gen. Ooh, you put me in a predicament right now. Oh, that's tough. Probably Super Mario Odyssey. Like, in a time when 3D platformers have been pretty stagnant and a lot of people thought that you couldn't make a good 3D platformer anymore, or a 3D platformer that lived up to the glory days, Super Mario Odyssey came out and absolutely dunked on that idea. Super Mario Odyssey is a masterpiece in every way. As I said earlier in the episode, it's the best 3D Mario, hands down. And that's saying a lot because there's a lot of amazing 3D Mario games, but Super Mario Odyssey is better than any 3D Mario in every single way. The level design's perfect. The hat thing, while I thought it was going to be gimmicky and lame, completely redefines the experience and adds so much more flexibility. Oh, so good. Yeah, I play my Switch pretty consistently. It's not the thing I play the most, but games like Animal Crossing, games like Super. Oh wait, damn it. Okay, I gotta redact Mario Odyssey and replace it with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now that I'm thinking about it, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate takes the place of Mario Odyssey. while Super Mario Odyssey is a masterpiece, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is just it's the ultimate fighting game. So many characters, so many stages, so much content. I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into that game, and I've put thousands of hours into Smash Bros. As a series. Whew. Yeah, there's a lot of really great games this gen. So I mean, it's tough. It all comes down to personal preference. I'm a big multiplayer guy, so multiplayer stuff typically dictates what I will play more. I like Dark Souls for me is perfect because it's a deep, engaging RPG with co-op. But cool, no, that's a great question. What other questions we got? We got time for a few more if you want to drop anything else in there. What does a game need to be A-rated? I think it needs to show extreme. Actually, I don't even know if extreme gore anymore even qualifies. Pretty much just penis, butthole, or a vagina. If I'm being crude, I think those are the things that are going to get you the A only. If you go a little extreme with those. Do you think Xbox will copy the new PS5 controller in the next few years and add to their system going forward? Haptic feedback or whatever it's called. That is one of the most interesting things about the PlayStation 5 controller is the way that the triggers react to the game. The developers of Deathloop came out and basically said that, if your gun jams in the game, that your triggers lock up, so you're unable to press them. That's a cool concept. That's a cool idea in the gaming space, and I think that has some cool applications. I just wonder if devs will adopt it, because that's always the issue with new tech. There's always like cool features that come out, like the pad on the PS5, the little touchpad, but they get used at launch and then they're just never touched again. I also worry a lot about the wear, like what that will do to the triggers, and the more complicated you make these components, especially triggers that are going to get pressed constantly in games, I wonder what the lifespan of these controllers is going to be. I foresee triggers wearing out really fast when you start incorporating that tech, especially those features. But and the Xbox controller does technically have haptic feedback in the triggers. So if you're playing an Xbox game, I forget what PlayStation is calling their trigger like locking. I forget the exact name, but it's not haptics, because haptics are basically just rumbles. Like when you're playing Forza and you hit dirt or gravel, you'll notice like the triggers rumble slightly and differently based on terrain. So that's the haptics. But the PS5 one, I forget the exact name that they use, but it is different. Like it changes resistance. In the case of Deathloop, it actually locks it. So yeah, like Binyabik saying, in the game, they're talking about like in Horizon Zero Dawn, when you're pulling the bow back, the further it goes back, you'll start to feel the trigger add a little more resistance, which is cool. Like that idea sounds really engaging and cool. I just think you're going to see these triggers wear out really fast, which, if it is like a cool, like genre-defying, like game-changing element and way to experience these games, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of, as technology advances and gets more involved, there's just more room for error. You look at cars, like old cars from the 70s to even like early 90s. There wasn't much room for error. Pretty simple components. But as we incorporate more electronic driven things and more smart devices, there's a lot more room for error. So you just kind of have to accept that. Like you get the convenience, you get these cool features, but at the same time, there's going to be more room for it to go out, and you're probably going to have to pay more to upkeep that. Do you think the Xbox Series S and X will give some VR support? Maybe Oculus or so? I don't know. Phil Spencer obviously has said that he's not interested in making a VR headset for Xbox, which I think is a fair move. I mean, people call the Kinect a failure, but I think what a lot of people fail to realize is the Kinect has sold more than most VR headsets. The Kinect, in terms of sales figures, did way more numbers way faster than any VR headset has ever done. But that was considered a failure. So it's hard to say. Like, I could see them maybe collaborating with Oculus, especially after the whole like Facebook thing, the Facebook gaming kind of integration. And I think Microsoft actually has stake in Facebook, have a little bit of money invested. So I could see them working out, like, hey, if you have an Oculus, you can use it with your Xbox. I could see something like that, but I haven't heard anything from anyone within Xbox. Oh yeah, the OG Connect on Xbox, that broke records. That like sold more than any like other gaming peripheral of all time. So yeah, it sold really well. Yeah, the people definitely got a little salty when they were forced to buy one with the Xbox One, though. And as Xbox learned, if you force somebody to buy something that they don't necessarily want, they will resent you for it. So yeah, they paid a harsh lesson for that. I guess while I have some people in the chat, I do want to point out that we are almost, we're super close to 10K subs on the old YouTube channel, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot, but we had about 3,000 subs in April. So we've had a pretty massive spurt of growth in the last few months. And, it's been awesome to see the same folks coming back to the videos and on Twitter, like just chatting. So huge thanks. There's a lot of awesome people in the community, and I'm super stoked to see that we're starting to build our own little thing over here. I mean, obviously, a lot of people know Windows Central, and a lot of people know Jez in the community. But it's been cool to like have this thing that started when I started had like 1,000 subscribers, and now to see it almost at 10K in a short span of time has been awesome. So huge thanks to everyone who's been sharing the videos and liking and subbing. Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited to see so many people hanging out on a random Saturday to talk about Xbox and watch me suck at Fall Guys. Happy 10K. Not quite. Let's I want to celebrate too early, but yeah, we're super close. And again, huge thanks to everyone who's been a part of that. It's been super cool to see like people commenting like, how doesn't this channel have more subs? And why doesn't this channel have more subs? So I appreciate that there's a really like passionate group of people watching the videos, and it's I genuinely appreciate it. I started as someone like I used to run my own Xbox focused blog back in the day, and then started transitioning into video work, and then Jez kind of brought me on to do like social video initially, occasional videos for the YouTube channel here and there, but that's really started evolving in the last few months, and it's been really cool to be a part of that. When we get to 10K subs, can we have the almighty brain behind the monkey meme leak on the official account? Yeah, we definitely want to get some people from Xbox on this. We're talking to some people within Xbox to get them on. Xbox PR's obviously very involved. There's a lot of steps you have to go through to get somebody approved for it. But yes, we are definitely going to get some people from Xbox on the show at some point. Oh, Sartok, you almost closed it because of the mid-roll thing. That's harsh, bro. It's just the name of the game. I got to get people engaging and liking and all that to feed into the algorithm. And I keep them short and sweet. It's like 15 seconds. I've seen YouTubers that do way longer, way worse ones. Like I said, I'm all about respecting everyone's time, but at the same time, I got to make sure that my bases are covered and people know or remember to like and all that jazz. Because statistically, if you tell people to like a video, like they do, and that's just kind of the way it is. So Psychonauts 8, what is up? It's just Miles in the house tonight. No Jezzy boy. He had a little tum-tum ache. Oh, my Twitter handle. Let me drop it in the chat here for anyone who's interested in kind of following me on Twitter. Real fancy, real clever. just at Miles Dompier on Twitter. So if you guys don't follow me, I talk a lot about Xbox stuff over there. Feel free to hit me up, shoot me any memes, shoot me any shit posts, whatever. Yeah, like I try to be rational. Like I'm not. I play video games on all platforms, so I don't hate things. Like, I mean, obviously I'll critique things, and there's things I don't like, but I try to invest more time and energy in talking about the things I like and promoting cool things that are exciting in the gaming space. I'm not afraid to critique something when I think something's unfair or unjust, but I there's too many insane, for lack of a better word, fanboys on the internet, on Twitter, on the Xbox space, and on the PlayStation side, and it's just annoying. Like I don't like engaging with that. Like when somebody comes on, when I post about something on Xbox related, and then the tweet blows up and people are sharing it, like people in the Xbox community are like, cool, I like this, I'm gonna share it. And then I always know a tweet's successful when a bunch of people who like PlayStation come and talk about how Xbox has no games or Xbox sucks, and I'm like, why are you investing time in this? I pretty much never go out of my way to do that. When I see someone like talking about something PlayStation related, even if it's something I have no interest in, even if it's something that I personally think is kind of lame, generally I just leave it. I just scroll past it on my feed, move along, and that's it. Follow you back. All right, yeah, I'll get you a follow, don't worry. Shoot. The Limerick guy here. Miles, how did you start in the gaming world? I'll give you a brief life story here. The very first game that I ever played, which will age me a little bit, is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So my first foray into gaming was I set the bar pretty damn high. A Link to the Past is one of the greatest games of all time, hands down. So I didn't really know that at the time. I was just like, oh my god, is this what gaming is? Gaming is so good. I love it. And then ever since then, I've been loyal to basically all the platforms. Started with Nintendo, Super Nintendo, loved it. From there, I went to PS1, absolutely loved my PS1. From there, I went to Xbox, absolutely loved my Xbox. Had a GameCube as well. Had a PS2. Then from the OG Xbox, that was in my teen years. That's when I really started falling in love with the Xbox library and the portfolio. Obviously, Halo is a huge part of my life. Spent a lot of time with my friends playing Halo back in the day. Got an Xbox 360, got a PS3, got the Xbox One, got a PS4, and a Switch. So as it currently stands, I typically try to have all of the main platforms. I have a really good PC as well, so I can play PC stuff. But yeah, I didn't always exclusively play Xbox. I don't exclusively play Xbox. I prefer Xbox most of the time. Sepia, thanks for hanging out, dude. Really appreciate you asking questions, interacting in the chat, and yeah. Take care, my friend. But yeah, no, this group has been super cool. I appreciate you guys dropping questions in the chat, hanging out. Unless there's anything else pressing, I'm probably gonna wrap it up and go get some lunch with the old wifey. And I'm gonna go harass Jez for bailing on me and breaking my heart. How do you feel about sites like Kotaku and IGN shitting on Xbox, Miles? Whew, you're going to hit me with a spicy question right before I'm shutting it down? Whew, Lord have mercy. Okay, so if you follow me on Twitter, if you don't, look at some of my tweets from yesterday. I posed a question to people on Twitter and people in the gaming community. I basically asked, do you genuinely think that people at these outlets, IGN, Kotaku, whatever it might be, are paid to say something negative about another platform? I left it at that. I didn't add any more specifics. I just wanted to get some information on what people thought about that. Like that idea that that Sony would go to IGN and say, here's $20,000. I want you to say that Xbox sucks. So yeah, I posed that question. Sartok, take care, man. Thanks for hanging out. I posed that question, and where I stand with that is I do think, yeah, people definitely have personal biases. That's obvious. I think what's very important for people to understand is that they also need to be aware of their own biases. And as people who consume content and read content, you also need to be aware of other people's biases when you're kind of looking at what they're writing, looking at what they're saying. If they have a history of being biased towards one side or the other, then you can look at their information and you can kind of put all of that information through a filter. So you know that this person prefers PlayStation. We know that this site, for example, they understand that the PlayStation audience is bigger. There's way more people that play PlayStation than Xbox, and so their content kind of goes through that filter, and so that's where some of the editorials come through. So there's a lot of great people working at those sites. Like I've talked to people personally. I would never make a blanket statement about any of those sites. Like, I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to attack people who work for these sites, because I don't want to ever be in a position where people look at me and look at what I do and say, oh, he's just a stupid Xbox fanboy. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's only saying positive things about Xbox because he's a stupid fanboy. Like, I don't want anyone to ever put me in that position. So I personally don't like to put people on that same lens as well, because I think it's a little unfair. But at the same time, I understand that there's obviously articles where people just want to stir the pot. Like, that exists. There are articles designed to just get people up in arms, get people reacting to content. That happens. It is what it is. It's kind of the lowest common denominator for journalism, I guess, if you want to say that. Again, I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not attacking any outlets directly. I just think that sort of like clickbait, hate bait, it's what gets people to the site. It gets traffic, but it's unfortunate that so many people respond to that as well. Like, if these sites only do that because people respond to it and people want to engage with that, so that says a lot about the people in these communities. You have people who want to see another company fail. You have people who want to see these companies just shit all over each other. And that sucks to see as well. Like, it sucks that negativity is what's driving the market and driving these pieces of content. So I get it. I get why people do it. Sometimes you have a strong opinion and you just really want to say something. And that's kind of where a lot of these editorials come from as well. So sometimes I don't think it's that these people are going out of their way to, I don't know, be negative. They just maybe have their own personal experiences and biases, and to them, this is what they really feel. But I don't know. It's tough. Like I said, like, I don't ever want people to put me in that camp of just being some dumb Xbox guy, because I would like to think that people think a little bit more of me than that. But so yeah, it's I would say you should be more upset with the folks that respond to that kind of negative those negative posts. I would say when you see a post like that, if you really want that stuff to stop and that kind of stuff really upsets you, instead of retweeting and amplifying that post, find a content creator or find someone that you like that is saying the opposite of that and amplify that instead. So instead of amplifying this thing that is created to amplify this hate, these ideas of hate and kind of us versus them, instead of kind of embracing and engaging with that, find a content creator or find someone you like or find someone whose opinion you value, see where they stand, and then if they are saying the opposite, just amplify that instead. That way you're not feeding into that beast, that machine, because unfortunately that's just the way you look at YouTube in particular. Like, that's one thing I can't stand about a lot of YouTubers. I'm not going to say anyone specifically, but they just feed into the fanboy hate clicks. and it's annoying. I don't watch that. I can't stand that. And that's not something that we'll ever do on our channel. But it does well. Like, people engage with that, and people respond to that, and people share that, and people share that in Reddit, on Facebook with their friends, and say this guy's an idiot, and then it just kind of goes from there. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Again, I'm not going to ever shit on an entire outlet for the most part. Sometimes people have bad takes. Sometimes people have wrong information. Some people have misinformation. Doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person or that they hate gaming and they want to see Xbox fail or whatever platform fails. But yeah, so that's where I stand. Again, you drop in that real spicy, deep philosophical question at the end there, but I appreciate it. I hope that gives you guys a better idea of kind of where I sit with all of this. And I'm not somebody who's just going to be blissfully ignorant to critique and just only talk about positive things, but I'm also not going to kind of feed into the hate algorithm that's become so prominent on social media and YouTube. But yeah, no, that was a great question. I appreciate that. No, it's something that I've been kind of internally debating as someone who was kind of on the outside as just like a enthusiast, and now I'm kind of in the journalism space. It's just something that I wanted to get some information from you guys. So again, like, if you haven't seen the post, hit me up on Twitter at MilesDompierre and check that out. And just, yeah, drop your thoughts. I'm sharing that with some industry folks as well to like let them know where a lot of people stand, because I was really a little bit shocked by the number of people who really, really genuinely think that these websites get paid to make hate articles, or they get paid by someone else to say something negative about another company. I was a little bit shocked. In my experience talking to people and my experience in the industry, that doesn't really happen. You can argue that, oh yeah, the hate clicks equal money, which again, we talked a little bit about that, and that's obviously the case. Hate gets people to visit one way or another, and that equals revenue and all that jazz. But yeah, the clickbait, and that's another thing that I've gone so far out of my way to do, is make sure that our content on the channel is not clickbaity at all. Like, I try so hard, despite all the trends, despite everything that YouTube wants you to do to clickbait and get people to like engage with the content. I try so hard to make sure that what we do is not clickbaity. So again, like I said, if there's creators you like, if there's people you like, amplify them, because obviously, like, I'm not feeding into the hate clickbait machine, so my stuff generally isn't going to get the same viral kind of like sharing that stuff that does. But yeah, I try so hard not to engage with that and not to clickbait. So again, hopefully you guys appreciate that, because as far as metrics go, especially on YouTube, and as far as the algorithm goes, that's against what YouTube wants me to do. So it's unfortunate, but Psychonauts, take care. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for posing some questions. Have a good weekend. Cool. Well, I think that is going to be it. Thanks so much for everyone who came and hung out. Awesome turnout. Great group of people. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, feel free to subscribe. Again, we're super close to 10K. I hate to shamelessly self-promote, shamelessly plug, but if you have anyone you know who's interested in Xbox stuff, who maybe hasn't heard of the channel, because clearly there are. We have 50,000 followers on our Windows Central Gaming Twitter page, and about 9.6 on the YouTube, so trying to close that gap as best I can. But yeah, again, no, thanks so much to everyone who comes and hangs out. You guys are rad. Thanks for posing these questions. I hope you enjoy this format. Again, it's something we're kind of fine-tuning. But yeah, this is kind of what we're envisioning for these little these Saturday Xbox streams before we blow up. Yeah, well, hope I'll be sure not to forget about you guys if we do blow up. Yeah, that's the downside. Is like right now there's an awesome group of people. We can have great conversations, chat. Once you blow up, it just becomes a bot spam and it's impossible to like filter. But yeah. That's not, it's very intimate right now, which is cool. We get a you get to ask me some real questions. Hopefully, I gave you some satisfactory answers. Oh yeah, and then sorry if you posted any streamers or any personalities or anyone you want to see on the show, please send those over on Twitter. Again, I don't want them to get lost in the chat. I know there are a few names in here, and I would love to reach out to them. But yeah, other than that, oh yes, the old super chats, the old pay money and super chat. I mean, obviously it supports the channel. It helps, turn this into a salaried position for me. But yeah, I'm not making forcing anybody to super chat. Cool, awesome. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll catch y'all later.